Welcome to another video of module Introduction to Networking. My name is Sanjeev. In this video, we are going to discuss about the types of networks. So till now, you are already aware about what actually networks are, what are the topologies of network and different aspects of network. In this video, we would see what are the different types of network, what are their use cases, advantages and disadvantages. So let's just start with the types of networks. So here you can see the different types of network. First is your local area network, then metropolitan area network, then wide area network, which we also known as WAN, storage area network, personal area network, system area network, etc. Right? There are a long list of types of networks. So without wasting time, let's understand all of them one by one in detail. So firstly, let's start with your local area network. So here you can see this is your local area network. When your laptop or mobile phone is connected into your home or office network, you are using what's known as the local area network or LAN. A LAN is a proprietary computer network that enables designated users to have exclusive access to the same system connection at a common location, always within an area of less than a mile or most often within the same building. By doing so, they are able to share devices, share resources such as printer, and exchange information as if they are all working from the same system. Resource sharing is possible with a network-aware operating system. Originally used in universities and research labs, today LANs are used everywhere, including the home and a business. With the use of coaxial cables, optical fiber cables, or twisted pair cables, different types of network topologies such as bus, star, and branching tree are used to fulfill specific goals. Information sharing and communication between devices over different topologies is possible with Wi-Fi or TCP/IP Ethernet. So here you can see a router is connected to all the devices at your home, which is further connected to your internet provider's modem and internet, right? So now we have just seen what is LAN. Now what are the advantages of LAN? So if you have many users needing to connect at a single location, in that case LAN is useful for you. And when devices and resources need to communicate directly with one another within a small geographic area, in that particular case LAN is very useful. So for example in home, school, library, lab, college, office, etc. Right? And computer resources like hard disk, DVD-ROM, and printers can also be shared in local area networks. So this significantly reduces the cost of hardware purchases or use cases, right? You can use the same software over the network instead of purchasing the licensed software for each client in the network. And data of all network users can be stored on a single hard disk of server computer. You can easily transfer data and message over network computers. It would be easy to manage data at only one place, which makes data more secure. And local area network refers the facility to share a single internet connection among all the LAN users. So that is also a benefit. You don't have to take multiple internet connections there. Now, talking about the disadvantages of LAN. So LAN will indeed save cost because of shared computer resources, but the initial cost of installing LAN is quite high. The LAN admin can check personal data files of every LAN user, so it does not offer good privacy. Unauthorized users can access critical data of an organization in case LAN admin is not able to secure centralized data repository. LAN requires a constant LAN administration as there are issues related to software setup and hardware failures. So these are kind of drawbacks of LAN. So I hope this is clear to you that what actually local area network LAN is, what are the use cases, advantages and disadvantages of it. Now let's move forward to your next type of network, which is MAN, or you can say Metropolitan Area Network. Let's just see what it is. So here you can see the diagram of Metropolitan Area Network or MAN. It is consisting of a computer network across an entire city, college campus or a small region. This type of network is larger than LAN, which is mostly limited to a single building or site. Depending upon the type of configuration, this type of network allows you to cover an area from several miles to tens of miles. So what are the characteristics of MAN? It mostly covers your towns and cities in the maximum of 50 kilometers range. Mostly used medium for connecting a man over an area is optical fibers and cables, and data rate is adequate here for distributed computing applications. So as you know, in today's world of computer networking, efficiency and speed are your top priorities. Some technologies manage to deliver both, while others have only one feature or none at all. So a MAN network ticks both the boxes by using technologies such as fiber optics, dense wavelength division multiplexing, and optical packet switching. So typical layout of metropolitan area network is shown in your diagram and often referred to as medium-sized networks. MAN covers a larger area than a LAN but smaller than a WAN. We will see further what is a WAN, so don't worry about that. MAN consists of different LANs interconnected with point-to-point high-capacity backbone technology, can span several buildings or a metropolis. Through shared regional resources, MANs can take the form of cable TV network or even telephone networks that provide high-speed DSL lines. Now, when you should use MAN and what are the advantages of it? So, when you have devices spread over a regional geography that needs to communicate directly with each other, in that case, MAN is useful. And if you have the ability to provide connectivity wired or wireless between each location, then MAN is useful. The more advantages of MAN is it offers fast communication using high speed carrier like fiber optic cables. It provides the excellent support for an extensive size network and greater access to WANs. The dual bus in MAN network provides support to transmit data in both directions concurrently, and a MAN network mostly includes some areas of a city or an entire city. Now coming to the drawbacks of MAN, or you can say when you should not use MAN. So if cost is a primary requirement here, as less costly solution to connect site. So here cost is a primary requirement and devices to be connected are spread out over a large and if your devices to be connected are spread over a large geographic area, then MAN can't be useful for it as it covers a comparatively smaller area just like a city. Further disadvantages can be that you would need more cables to establish MAN connection from one place to another, and in MAN network it is tough to make the system secure from hackers. So I hope this is clear to you what actually metropolitan. So I hope this is clear to you what actually metropolitan area network is, what are its use cases, advantages and disadvantages are. Let's move to your next type of network, which is your wide area network, or most of the times it is called as WAN as well. So let's see WAN. Here this is the diagram referring to wide area network or WAN. So private lines, virtual private networks. So your private lines, VPNs, multi-protocol label switching, wireless networks, cellular networks and the internet allows LANs and other types of networks in different geographical regions to communicate and transmit data. This type of computer networking is known as wide area network, a telecommunication network that's not limited to any particular geography, providing access to various forms of media through a designated provider. WANs can be basic or hybrid with point-to-point or packet switched networks over shared circuits. In the case of hybrid WANs and SD-WAN, different connection types are used that can range from your VPNs and MPLS. Communication channel within a WAN often feature a wide range of different technologies ranging from routers, FSO links, IO interfaces to fiber optics, etc. While they often go unnoticed, WANs are embedded everywhere in modern life, connecting cities, countries, even space. From providing remote access to a corporation's head office, allowing students to communicate with other students in different continents, to teleconferencing in real time, these are the many other examples to show how far-flung WANs has become. So here WAN is basically another important computer network which is spread across a large geographical area. WAN network system could be a connection of a LAN which connects with other LANs using telephone lines and radio waves. It is mostly limited to an enterprise or an organization. So here the characteristics of WAN are the software files will be shared among all the users, therefore all can access the latest files. Any organization can form its global integrated network using WAN. Now let's see what are the advantages of WAN. So WAN helps you to cover larger geographical area, therefore business offices situated at longer distances can easily communicate. Contains devices like mobile phone, laptop, tablet, computer, gaming consoles, etc. And WAN connections work using radio transmitters and receivers built into client devices. Now, what are the disadvantages of WAN? So, disadvantage is that initial setup cost of investment is very high as you are spreading it over a large geographical area and it is difficult to maintain the WAN network. You would need skilled technicians and network administrators, and there are more errors and issues because of the wide coverage and the use of different technologies. It requires more time to resolve issues because of the involvement of multiple wired and wireless technologies, and it offers lower security compared to the other types of network in computer. So I hope it is clear to you and it does make sense what actually WAN is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of it. Now let's move to the next type of your network, that is PAN, or you can say personal area network. So let's see what actually PAN is. So here you can see the diagram of personal area network. Actually, it is a short range network topology designed for peripheral devices, usually about 30 feet, that is used by an individual. The purpose of these types of network is to transmit data between devices using being necessarily connected to the internet. So PANs can also be connected to LAN and higher level network types where one device acts as a gateway. So an everyday example of PAN is a Bluetooth keyboard that is connected to a smart TV where the interface allows you to surf the internet, view recorded programs and configure personal preferences. Personal area networks can either be wireless or wired. Wireless PANs are generally called as WPANs and use close range connectivity protocols such as Wi-Fi, Zigbee, infrared and Bluetooth for data centric applications. In the case of Bluetooth, network configurations can be piconet, that means involving a master and one or more slaves, or you can call them as scaternets, which are interrelated piconets. So wired PANs on the other hand are universal serial bus, or you can see they uses USB and Thunderbolt. Like other network types, each connectivity protocol within a PAN is typically not directly compatible with other protocols. So in what cases you should use a PAN? If you are looking to connect accessories or peripherals to laptops, cell phones, etc., so, just like your keyboards, mouse. So there you can use PAN. And the devices generally that don't need to connect directly to the internet, in that case you can use PAN for them. And what are the disadvantages? Where you should not use the PAN network. So if you are looking to share resources between different users, or if the distance between devices is more than a few feet, in that particular case you should avoid using PAN, right? So I hope this is clear to you what actually personal area network is and what are its use cases and disadvantages. So let's just move forward with your next type of network, which is storage area network, or it is also called as SAN. So here you can see this diagram representing storage area network. So network storage is kind of synonym with business continuity in an increasingly competitive world. Businesses that want to stay ahead needs to find ways to optimize data access and storage access and ensure that important backups are done on a regular basis. One way to achieve these aims is using a storage area network. A storage area network, or SAN, is the network behind the servers, which is having a special purpose high speed computer network that provides any to any access to the storage. The main purpose of SAN is to transfer data between different storage devices and between the computer networks and storage devices. So block level input output services are characteristic of most of the storage area networks. Different components used in a SAN may include fiber channel technology such as fiber channel host bus adapter, which we also called as your HBA cards, and fiber channel switches and other technologies such as your host switches and disk arrays. So the main use case of it is to transfer the data between different storage devices and between the computer network and storage devices, right? Now when you should use a SAN. So when there are multiple devices that need to share the resources available on one or more storage devices, in that case you can use SAN. Or when you require centralized storage for all data across all the resources, in that case SAN is useful. Now in what case you shouldn't use SAN? If your budget is constrained, so because it would take like significant upfront investment to establish the SAN. So if you have a budget problem, in that case SAN is not useful. And if there are some resource constraints, because SAN may require additional maintenance and upkeep compared to the local storage. So here you would need some extra resources also. In the case of SAN, that is also a disadvantage here. So I hope this is clear to you what actually SAN is, that is your storage area network. Now let's move forward with your next type of network, which is system area network, which we also refer as SAN. So let's see this, what a system area network is. Here you can see the diagram of system area network. A system area network is a type of network configuration designed to facilitate communication between nodes in a cluster. It's designed to provide high bandwidth and ensure low latency by avoiding multiple copies of data and providing direct network access to the user in high performance computing environment. As a result, SANs ensure high-speed switched environments that facilitate network communication between the devices, interconnecting with multiprocessing systems and storage, that is processor to processor, and storage area systems are also possible within a SAN. So as SANs are designed to be used in parallel computing environments, typical example of it can be, it is used in scientific applications, database server clusters and file server clusters. Now what are the advantages of it and where you should use system area network? So when you require the data to be transferred in low error rates, high bandwidth and low latency. There, SAN is useful. Now, what are the disadvantages of it? So, it is very costly. That is one of the disadvantage. And actually, that is the most prominent disadvantage of it, that it would require, that it is very costly. So I hope it is clear to you that what is system area network here and what are its use cases. Now let's move forward with your next type of network, which is EPN or Enterprise Private Network. So here you can see the diagram of Enterprise Area Network or EPN. So bandwidth intensive applications use a huge chunk of company network resources, slowing down your data transfer and leading to the bottlenecks in business operations. So an enterprise private network is a custom designed network built and operated by a business to share company resources. It connects a company's office across different geographic regions and is optimized to ensure that bandwidth centric applications run smoothly without burdening the network. So within an APN, companies can choose to have a purpose-built network that's fully private or a hybrid integrated with the network communication service providers, which we call as CSP also. So generally, EPNs are optimized with your tunneling protocols such as layer 2 tunneling protocol, or we call it as L2TP, and internet protocol security to ensure privacy across all the network operation, and its branches are connected with MPLS technology. Now, in what cases you should use EPN, or what are the advantages of it? So you can use EPN if you need to facilitate secure communications between two locations but don't have any direct connectivity between the two locations. Or you can use EPN if you need to provide users spread across various locations consistent access to resources spread over various locations. In that case also EPN is helpful. Another use case of it is if there are requirements to scale and grow the network over time. In that case also you can set up an EPN. Now, what are the disadvantages of it? It would take a lot of resources to set up an EPN as well as to update and maintain it. So this is one of the most prominent disadvantage. And another disadvantage is that redundant links between the locations are not possible here, as they will introduce additional failure points to the network. So I hope this is making sense to you that what actually EPN is and what are its advantages and disadvantages. Now let's move to your next network type, which is your VPN or virtual private network. Let's see what it is. So now let's see what actually VPN is. So here you can see the diagram of VPN. So nowadays with cyber attacks lurking in every click and the risk of having sensitive information mined, intercepted or even stolen, a VPN offers users an encrypted connection that effectively hides data packets while using the internet. So this is achieved with a VPN tunnel that's created between two communication devices, encapsulating and encrypting the data transferred between the two devices. Typically, VPN is used when the two devices are connected over a public network, such as the internet. The extra protection offered by VPN tunnel prevents sensitive information such as your IP address, surfing history, communication with a corporate office, or even traveling plans from being exposed online. So the level of security surrounding a data packet depends upon the type of VPN tunnel is being used. Typical VPN tunnels generally include point-to-point tunneling protocol, which is also called as PPTP, and secure socket tunneling protocol, which is called as SSTP, or your L2TP or OpenVPN. So layer 2 tunneling protocol L2TP, which uses the Internet Protocol Security Protection, typically does so with AES 256-bit encryption and advanced encryption standard, considered to be the strongest available for all types of network connections. So there are different types of VPNs which are generally be split into two categories: remote access VPNs and site-to-site VPNs. With remote access VPNs, users securely connect to their devices to the corporate office, and with site-to-site VPN, connection is done from corporate office to the branches. So what are the advantages of VPN and when you should use a VPN? So if you need to facilitate secure communication between two locations but don't have any direct connectivity between the two locations, in that case setting up a VPN is recommended. Another use case is if you need to provide remote access to resources at a central location to remote users. In that case also setting up a VPN is helpful. Now, what are the disadvantages of VPN? So, actually, in VPN, speed is your only concern. The encryption process adds slight overhead to the communication, which slow down the speed of using the network. So, I hope here it is clear to you what actually VPN is, what are its use cases, and what are advantages and disadvantages of it, and how it actually secures your network using different kind of protocols. Now let's move forward with the next type of network, which is home area network or generally called as HAN. So here you can see the diagram of home area network, which is called as HAN also. So many of the houses might have multiple number of computers. To interconnect those computers and with other peripheral devices, a network should be established which would be similar to your local area network within that particular home. Such a type of network that allows a user to interconnect multiple computers and other digital devices within the home is referred as home area network, and it encourages sharing of resources, files and other programs within a network. It supports both wired as well as the wireless connection. So I hope this is clear to you that what actually a home area network is. So now let's move forward with your next type of network, which is passive optical local area network. Let's see what is pollen network is. So let's just see what this pollen network actually is. Here you can see the diagram of pollen network. So copper based connectivity was once widely accepted in local area network installations. Today this scenario is changing as passive optical local area network or pollen edge out older installations. So pollen is significant upgrade from copper cables, replacing them with fiber optic telecommunication technology that is being used optical splitters to split and combine upstreams and downstream signals that are eventually sent on a strand of signal mode fiber that are eventually sent on a strand of a single mode fiber. So if you are using Wi-Fi or something, you must have seen earlier your router would be connected with a copper cable with your ISP, that is your internet service provider. But recently, most of the ISPs are replacing their copper cables with the optical fiber cables and establishing a pollen instead of a LAN. So the fiber bandwidth is divided among different access points, and the use of wavelength division multiplexing, that is WDM, enables bidirectional communication that reduces the number of copper cables. So the examples where pollen are used including campus buildings with departments sharing a common network, hospitals that have shared a common network with site pharmacy and patient needs, or any other LAN network types. Now what are the use cases or when you should use a pollen? So if you need a lower cost solution for connecting remote locations and have the ability to install optical fiber between the locations, then Poland is the most recommended network type. Now, what are the disadvantages of it? So, the disadvantages of Pollen are that it is very expensive. Another disadvantage of it is that it would require a well-defined standard for the network. And there are currently no accepted worldwide standards to define Pollen installations, and this could lead to compatibility issue in the future. So I hope it is clear to you what actually Pollen is, how it is being used, what are the use cases and disadvantages of it. Now let's move forward to your next type of network, which is wireless local area network or WLAN. So let's see what is your wireless local area network is. So here you can see the diagram of wireless local area network. So nowadays wireless technologies have been a major breakthrough in commercial and personal connectivity, opening up numerous possibilities ranging from mobile wireless, fixed wireless, portable wireless or IR wireless, right? Connected device on these configurations communicate over what's known as a wireless local area network. So WLANs use high frequency signals, lasers and infrared beams to enable devices to communicate with each other without the need of electrical conductors such as wires to transmit the data. This type of flexible data communication makes it easy for the user to move around the coverage area without the need of cables to maintain the network connectivity. WLAN provides a high data transfer rate and most often works in 2.4 GHz band or 5 GHz band. Some example of devices that operate in 2.4 GHz band WLAN include your Bluetooth devices, cordless telephones, Wi-Fi radios, garbage door openers. So if you are looking to sacrifice some signal strength for better speed in a WLAN, laptops can be connected to the 5 GHz band too. Okay. Now, what are the use cases of it, or you can say advantages are? So, the mobility of devices. So, the most important use case is that it provides the mobility of devices while connected to the network. It is very helpful for the devices which doesn't support any wired network connections. It is very helpful when you need to connect devices not physically close to existing network infrastructure. And it is very helpful if there are more devices you need to connect than the number of ports on the router or switch, and you can't add an additional switch or router. In that case WLAN is very helpful. Now what are the disadvantages of WLAN? So it can't provide you a consistent unwavering performance. That is one of the most prominent disadvantage of it. And there are some security concerns also. So if your only priority is security, then you shouldn't go with WLAN. So I hope this is clear to you that what actually wireless local area network is and what are the use cases and disadvantages of it. Now let's move forward with your next type of network, which is your campus area network, or we generally call it as CAN also. So let's just see it. So with the campus area network, universities, college and corporate campuses connect different LANs from various departments sharing a common area. This transforms otherwise scattered networks into a collective network that provides access to information at at a very high speed while ensuring the necessary authentication to provide privacy loopholes. So CANs are similar to LANs in operational approach, but there is a difference in size to these type of networks. So users generally access your campus area network using different technologies like Wi-Fi, hotspots or Ethernets. Now what are the use cases of it or when you should use CAN? So if you have the devices spread all over the campus that needs to communication directly with each other, in that particular case CAN is very helpful, and it also provides the ability to provide connectivity wired or wireless between each of the buildings. Now in what case CAN is not useful, or what are the disadvantages of it? It is again very cost ineffective. It requires, as it's very expensive to set up. Another disadvantage is if your devices are spread over a larger geographic area and are just not isolated to the campus, in that case CAN won't be useful as it won't be able to cover that much large geographical area, right? So this is the disadvantage of CAN. I hope this is clear to you that what campus area network is, what are its use cases and disadvantages are. So here, these were your different types of networks. I hope this is clear to you that what are the differences, use cases and disadvantage of all these types of networks. So thank you, take care. Let's meet in the next video and discuss some more aspects of your networking.